And hey guys, I'm Eric, and this is Notes and Nerds here at TopCon Geek Expo. I'm sitting here with Susanne Lambdin. How are you doing?
I am doing pretty good. I'm a little bit worn out after a long, exciting con, but I'm here.
We have what we're going to call the Monday. Kind of like named after Mike Mundy. You go out, you get having all kinds of fun, partying.
I've been partying with him for 2 nights till 2 a.m. and I don't think anyone. Well, you know what? Friday night I did tuck Mike Mundy into bed. He was worn out. And that was 2 a.m. He's a roommate. He had a roommate there. But yeah, I'm absolutely worn out. Like last night, I couldn't even party with the guys. It was just too much.
You got to tuck Mike Mundy into bed.
Yeah, I did. Hey.
What's it like tucking a zombie into bed?
You really quick. You push them in, and then you tuck everything around on the side so they can't move or get out.
Kind of mummify them a little bit.
Mummify them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's a little backstory, guys. We've been trying to get them on the show, or get her on the show for about a year now. And that is at no fault of hers, of course. It's just that every con, with our footage coverage and everything like that, it's just boom, we get so much going on. And unfortunately, things get forgotten, lost, but we're finally doing it. So why are you on our show?
So I'm on your show. I am known as the Zombie Lady, but I write a zombie apocalypse series called Dead Hearts. There's 11 books in this series. The first 4 are out. He's holding up Morbid Hearts, which is the first book. So it's kind of like The Walking Dead met Red Dawn, but my virus mutates, and besides zombies, I have vampires, werewolves, demons.
You cover all the
I cover everything you could possibly. So when the 4th book comes out, which is right here, Defying Hearts, the U.S. military does arrive, and a few ancient gods and goddesses that have a form of the virus. All of the ancient gods did, and so it's coming back around. So some of your heroes or heroines in the book also have a form of that virus. So it's fun and different, and I recommend my own series. And through last year at TopCon, I met Mike Mundy. So then Mike Mundy from The Walking Dead, we've gone to a few comic cons, and we're getting ready to go to Colorado for 15 days on a zombie publicity tour.
I'll have you hold that just like this right here, so we keep that on display.
Excellent. So I'd like to think all things zombies I know.
Nice. So as a zombie fan, we'll get into the books a little more deeply here in a second. As a zombie fan, how much in the zombie lore have you delved over the years? How long also?
God, everyone will tell you what's your favorite movie, and it's always A Night of the Living Dead, Romero. But I've always watched zombie films. They've never really scared me. I just enjoyed the thought of overwhelming odds coming to eat people. Somehow that delights me because there's too many people on the planet and most do need to be eaten. So I've watched a lot of movies, read a lot of books, and I'll just say right now, my flat out favorite zombie film, I love Shaun of the Dead. I want just a little bit of humor with my zombies.
Are you a fan of Z Nation?
I do like Z Nation, huge fan of Z Nation. And I did go to Walker Stalker in Denver this last March and got to meet the cast.
Oh, really?
And the Murphy, good times. They're fun. And I told the cast, too, that I love Z Nation, and they go, did you just start liking it? It's like, hell no, from the very start. It's so camp and over the top. And they do different kind of zombie every episode, something weird and new.
And it's so great. I love the shout outs they gave. The first episode was a straight shout out to a certain sheriff at a prison a county over when that one guy was trying to bring Murphy in to find the main characters. And I was like sitting there going, oh, that's funny. That is hilarious.
And they did that too with the Zombie NATO.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tip-off, yeah. So I do like how they do that.
So many wonderful hats off to so many different productions. And I mean, I'm not a big, I'll admit, I'm not a big fan of a lot of Asylum productions. Some of their other stuff, like the one with Daryl Hannah, wasn't one of my favorites. It was a little too schlocky in my opinion. But Z Nation, somehow, some way, they hit the bullseye with that one.
I do too, because with the zombie invasion, you gotta have a little comedy.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, it's too serious all the time. I kind of lose interest just a little bit because you gotta laugh at it at some point.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan too. I like iZombie.
I try to get into it. It's just it just doesn't feel right for me. It feels too CW-y.
I'd say that it is, but I've come to the point now, which tells you a little bit about something about me, but she's preparing lunch with human brains, and she makes it look so good. Baby brains would be delicious if you ate that.
Cow brain is delicious. If you have not had it.
I have not had it.
It is delicious.
I might not run out and go get it, but
it tastes like hamburger pudding.
That's kind of disgusting.
It's delicious.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
It's so tender, it's so rich. And I wonder if human brain would taste that way. But of course, we taste more like a long pig, so I wonder if that's what it would taste like as pork. Anyway, that's a completely
Oh my
different
God,
subject.
that's funny. I feel like I need like a cocktail after that.
So, one thing I want to touch on, you said like everybody who's been a zombie fan, Romero is usually the grading scale. Which version do you like of the original Night of the Living, that story, the Night of the Living Dead?
Well, you know what? They're both so different. The first one is iconic and it's classic, and when their brother, the very first, is the one coming to get you. They're coming to get you, Barbara.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
That's so good. But then the second one, and I love me some Candyman, right?
Not the
so
second
in the
one.
remake,
yes.
of Night of the Living Dead.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about too.
The one with Patricia Tallman?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that as well.
I think it hits so well, staying true, because Romero had a big hand in that one too. But I can't remember his last name. It's one of those weird, kind of not normal last names, and he those two worked together so tightly on this film that it felt like the original film, just updated. The ending was obviously a lot different. I kind of like, because Patricia Tallman never plays this pushover weak character, and I like the transition from being a weakling and easily pushed around to standing up, taking life by the cojones and moving forward with it.
It just normally I really don't like remakes, and I wouldn't say it just it seemed like a really nice.
I wouldn't call it a remake. I'd call it an update.
I would say it's an update too. I thought it worked.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind it, and I can watch both of them, and they're just so different, but it works with this. I know a lot of people got like pissed off with the Ghostbusters, right? And they with the new Ghostbusters with the girls playing the parts, but I did like it.
I like the girls. Don't get me wrong. I love the girls in it. They sucked.
It's not the same as the original one. So normally, okay, and I'm gonna have to trash something. So I'm a big fan of Ben-Hur, which is completely off topic. Has
Classic.
nothing. But I love me some Romans, and I thought the remake was just awful.
I've never seen the remake. The only Ben-Hur I know of is I believe it's Charlton Heston.
Yeah, and
that's the only one that
and when
matters.
something is that good, and when it has so many Oscars, don't remake a movie when it has
Yes.
Oscars. But Night of the Living Dead, I like both versions. And then it's Dawn of the Dead, right? That's the remake. I favor the new one over the old one, but I do like the mall scene with that song
agree.
everyone likes.
I agree. The classic, it was a good film. It stood on its own, but I have to agree. The new version, the one with Ving Rhames, I thought was so much more poignant. It had so much more impact. And it didn't just impact, like the first one, it was impacting how zombieism was the same as consumerism. And the new remake, it maintained that aspect because, the way they was playing in the mall and the way those mall cops took their job way too seriously at the beginning, it said something and it stayed true to the original context, but I love that ending. If you haven't seen the ending, we're not going to spoil it.
No.
Come on, yes, it's a 20-year spoiler or 10-year spoiler, 15 years. Oh my God.
God,
About 15 years.
That's one of the zombie films I can watch that one over and over again, and it is so good. And the music's good, which I also judge
The Harmless Zombie, the way they got that actor to come in with that was
Yeah, he's kind of moving fast. So the zombies in this version, the updated version, they're moving a lot faster.
I like the explanation on running zombies that people were like, oh no, zombies don't run, they shuffle. Fresh zombie, fresh kill. Rigor mortis has not set in. And here's the other thing, folks. Rigor mortis, once it sets in, it only lasts for approximately 10 to 20 minutes. After that, it kicks back out. The gases start going. The material starts breaking down. Therefore, limberness comes back into the body, and therefore you can continue having a fast zombie until too much decay kicks in. Scientifically speaking, that is.
And in my series too, I deal with that. If you were an athlete, you're in really good condition, and then you're bit by a zombie, you would be a
Max Brooks hit on that in his zombie survival.
Yeah, so you would be a more fit zombie at first until you start decaying, as opposed to someone who's out of shape. You're not going to be very effective as a zombie. So it depends on, as a human, were you fit or not, what kind of zombie you'll be. So I'll accept that I wouldn't be a really fast moving zombie.
After this weekend, I wouldn't be a very fast. I'd be more like a crawler rather than a shuffler.
I'm going to be the sitting zombie. If you come close enough as you walk by, but otherwise, I'm not making an effort.
That's about me.
I'm mundied out.
Yeah.
I got the Mundy.
So, your first book.
First book.
The process of getting to this? How long did it take you to write this? Because it always seems like the first book is the hardest book to write, and then after that you got a flow for what you're doing. But then, of course, like if you have the George R.R. Martin effect, where you got that last book and you've been putting it off because you want to make it epic, but you're not there yet. So hopefully you don't have, the George R.R. Martin effect, where it takes forever to get to it, because you understand you want to make it epic, but I'm rambling.
That's great. So I'm an odd-topper writer. When I write a skeleton draft first and foremost. So how long did it take me to write it? It took me 2 weeks to write the skeleton draft. It took 6 months to reread it, to edit, to comb through it, and then a year in total from writing it to having it edited by the publishers and the editing staff until it's published.
Basically,
So
what you're saying, you had a story, you knew what you wanted to tell.
I don't do outlines. I just sit down, and I wanted to write Colorado Springs. I had just watched an Australian movie, Tomorrow When the War Starts, which, if you know, it's kind of like Red Dawn Australia style. And it's 7 kids that are in the outback, and when they come back, all the hell has hit the fan. I've got 7 kids on a zombie patrol team, and it's up on Pikes Peak. And so I knew I wanted to do kids with patrol teams, survivors. I wanted them in the Rockies. And I just sat down, and it just kind of came out of me. But when I write one book after the other. So there's 5 books in the zombie series of Dead Hearts, and I wrote all 5 of them back to back. And then I start the process of rewriting. And so I can go to 1 or 5, and you can pop in information as you go.
This way you're also maintaining some cohesion between the story, because that's one thing that a lot of people see in these kind of stories that take forever to get there. And the reason why they take so long is because you got to go back and rehash some of the stuff that you wrote before, and you're doing it back to back, so you're almost writing like books at the same time.
So you would think it's like a George R.R. Martin. I'm writing a huge big book, and then I'm just dividing it up.
Okay.
And so I like to write with my books. I keep them consecutive, so from book to book, it just time frame wise, we're just weeks difference, and it just keeps the story keeps going forward.
Yeah.
And then
Keeps
I
it
have,
fresh in your head,
and there's
too.
11 books now, so I did 2 spin-off trilogies.
Nice.
So, and I wrote all 3 books at once, and then have to go back in and then start editing. But I find that easier because I don't want to forget, and I'm not going to be the God Martin and sit there and write a book and then not finish the next one when your fans are waiting. My fans only have to wait for the publisher to publish them because they're written.
And the publisher, I'm guessing, tries to span them out enough to keep
the interest, keep people salivating and wanting the next one. And
Yeah.
I'm really happy with my publishing house and my editors, and they treat me good. And all I like to do is go out to comic cons and book
Sell your
signings
book.
and sell the book. And who doesn't want to do that?
Now, this one, where does it take place at?
So the majority of the series in Dead Hearts does take place in Colorado Springs and Manitou Springs. So the opening book, you are literally up on Pikes Peak, and your survivors camp extends from the Garden of the Gods, which is kind of between Manitou Springs and Colorado Springs, back into the mountains of Cascade. The town of Cascade's right there at the foot of Pikes Peak. So, and I've got like a makeshift electric fence put up.
Yeah.
Not everywhere, because that would be impossible, but in vulnerable areas where zombie hordes could come in.
Yeah.
So then the book opens in the Garden of the Gods, because I'm a huge fan of, if any of the tourist sites in Colorado Springs, it's just absolutely wonderful. From the Cave of the Winds to the Seven Falls to Miramont Castle, there's so many cool places to hide and go. And of course, then that's El Paso County in Colorado, and they absolutely love me. And why wouldn't they? Because I blow the hell out of everything from Colorado Springs to the Air Force Academy,
Yeah.
Black Forest. So it just was such a rich area.
It is.
And so then it sustained me for 11 books because there's just so much to write. You never get tired. And just real quick, so Manitou Springs, I had no idea, it's really haunted. It's got a lot of witches. It's got a lot of, haunted supernatural areas, which I didn't know when I chose it. I chose it because I think it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. And then after I write the books, people came up and they go, "Did you know?" And they started telling me all these wild stories. And you know what? No, I didn't know.
Wasn't
So,
that the set? You watch Ghost Adventures?
It-
Didn't they do an episode there?
I think
Because it sounds familiar. Because I know
they've
there's-
had a lot of different places. And of course, it's not far from the Stanley Hotel.
I think they did an episode there because they was talking about a lot of witchcraft stuff there. And
Yeah, it's like every
Magic.
purple house in Manitou Springs is supposed to be where a witch lives, which I just thought they were pretty purple houses. And then someone told me up on Pikes Peak there is, limestone, a lot of limestone deposit, and that holds supernatural activity. And that if a plane or helicopter flies over the area, they have problems. And so in the opening of my book, I have a plane crash at the very first, but I did not know that there was any possibility that it might screw with your equipment and would cause a crash. I don't know, maybe I locked into something. But it's just really fun, all the different places, and then people would say, well, did you use this location? I was like, yeah. And then they tell you a little fun background story on it, and I do research a lot before I write.
I'm guessing your books sell exceptionally well in that area, though.
They do. I make a full-time living selling books, and they buy them up in Colorado,
So remember, kids, reading and writing are very important. Make sure you get your grammar down, too.
You do, and you have to research. And I always tell people, you write what you know about.
Yes.
So obviously I don't, what do I know about zombies? Well, I've watched every zombie book, and so that's fantasy, right? But I know Colorado, and I've taken the time to meet the people, to go to the places, to know the location.
Fantasy's just important. I mean, you don't want to sit there and write just some random zombie film. I mean, there's been a few, and as us zombie fans, we can accept a little difference for artistic flair, but when you start screwing with the formula too much.
Yeah, and you know what, and there is a formula to it. And when Morbid Hearts came out, some of the zombie purists got a little mad at me because I wanted to use a mutating virus, but other authors are as well, and they do in movies. Resident Evil, we have mutants running around. And
Resident Evil video games were so popular, and the T virus is a mutation virus. It was the same concept that you're using in your book, where it was built in a lab for the sole purpose of, well, in this case, it was for a bioweapon. So
yeah, mine's. Anyway, so I use the H1N1, so it's H1N1Z virus, but mine, I don't really want to say why it's created, but it's more for romantic reasons. Yeah, good luck with that one. And the person who's creating it just doesn't get it, so that's all I'll say. So everything, all the creatures in there, they're all an accident, and your main villain does not want those things around, but he's
because
insane. He keeps thinking if he can redo it or do the same process over, he'll get a different result.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to.
Yeah.
So
the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a new result. That's why working for the man sucks.
It does. But I will say, my villain in my story is so delightful that there's 11 books in this series, and I think I'm going to do an origin story with the main villain.
Find out why he's trying to make this
Why he is the
virus.
way he is, right? Because there's just so much. And these plots, they're really detailed, and there are a lot of characters, but the plot, I would say, in a way, is so complicated, but I spoon-feed it to you, so it's so easy.
Mm-hmm.
And so by the time you get down, like with each book you read, it's like, when you think about it, it's like, oh my God, I gave you an awful lot of info in a very easy manner.
Well,
and it's fun.
That's signs of a great writer, that you're keeping the plot, the subplot, which is the villain, what's going on, why this is happening. That is just a sign of a great writer, because I'm sorry, if your first book comes out and it gives you the entire subplot, it gets boring real fast for the remainder, and nobody likes character. We love character development, but we hate character development because nobody wants to sit there. That's why first movies, for example, the first movie in a trilogy always sucks. Because why? Introduction of character.
Yeah, I've tried to, people say when you start out a book, I'd like to start out with action. Don't be telling me all the background information about your character. That's the whole point of the book. Slowly allow me to get to know the character, where they came from.
What they're doing.
Right, and in dialogue, just talking. That's how you get to know someone in a movie, not page after page or a background information. That's the whole point.
All right, so in your books, you have great character development with them going on, correct?
I do.
And that's always important, because a good writer always makes sure there is character development. My favorite character that you see in movies, television, and in books, that is the type of character where you just hate that guy. You just hate them. They have this horrible attitude. They are kind of, and I'm going to say this, douchey. But in the end, you find out they either do something miraculous where it just saves everybody because, he did this amazing selfless act that you never thought he would do. Or you find out that this poor guy or girl was just one of those type of people that was just wonderful and hugs everybody and unicorns and rainbows, but something happened and totally, darkened them. A great example is Undead, the Australian zombie film. The guy, the sheriff, same kind of concept. You just don't like him. And then Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead, the guy that has the yachts.
Yes.
He's a bit of a dick, and then he does come
That
through in the
big
end.
thing.
I like to, with my characters, I like to each of them that represents a theme or an emotion. I like to deal with redemption. So I do have one character that starts out, it's the guy in the local militia. He pisses his pants in a battle. He does fight, but then he hides and everyone else is slaughtered.
Yeah.
So when my heroine comes upon him, then it's a matter is can he redeem himself or not? And he does actually, I'll admit, end up being a vampire. He's a better man as a vampire, than he was as a human. So he tries throughout the next 5 books to redeem himself in the eyes of only the heroine. He's still a dick. He doesn't care about anyone else, but he does care what she thinks. But then I also have characters that are good guys that, for whatever reason, they break, they fall, they join the bad guys, they sell out their friends. And so even when I go to that point where you're a good guy, you betray everyone, and now some people die because of you, then I even like to try to pull them back, and can I redeem them even after that? And I have one character who's kind of like your anti-hero, and hell, he's a total dick, and he causes the destruction of the camp and the death of hundreds of people. In the first book, my publisher liked him so much that he's got his own damn series. And how do you redeem yourself after causing the death of hundreds of people? But he does.
A lot of people.
But he does, and I like getting into that. So that's background and that's character development.
Yes.
And then you just slowly do that. It's not anything you just throw up people and explain in 3 pages. It slowly evolves and happens over the course of the series.
And that's the important thing. You've got to have that character that starts off early in the story that you just build this hatred for, because you know they're just that type of character you can't stand. And then you get these little tidbits, these little morsels of, wait a second, that was out of character.
Well, you need the character you love to hate.
Yeah.
You really, and I have some female characters like that. There's one that her name is Raven, and she's Hispanic, and she's a hothead and beautiful, and all the girls will cosplay this gal, but she's a total bitch. But she's a survivalist, and she does what she must to survive. So does that make her a bad character? It just depends. And
well, a great character for you to think about as Walking Dead fans. There is a character that we all despise equally that is now dead. Spoiler, the governor. Remember his almost...
We all didn't hate him.
Well...
In the graphic novel, yes.
Oh God, we won't discuss the graphic novel.
No, in the TV series, it's hot. Yeah.
He was the character you wanted to hate. You really did hate.
But you liked him.
But there was the redeeming when he took on this one community. You understood what his point was, but he also was a dark individual. He was toned down for the show, but that when he found that community, and you really felt for him.
Yeah, I like the thought he could seduce you and play you and manipulate you to your own destruction.
I was hoping that they was going to. This is one of those points in that I was hoping they was going to deviate and give us this governor that everybody wanted to hug and love and enjoy, but no, they stuck to character. I mean, they brought the frickin' tank.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I do have one, and it just makes me laugh. So by the 11th book, and I know my characters pretty well, there's one that I like a double agent. He plays both sides, and so people either love him or hate him, and he does things, but normally hate this one. It's a vampire character.
That's the ultimate survivor, though.
And by the time I got done writing the series, that's the male character I love the most, because it's kind of like the Snape character. You don't know if he's really a good guy or a bad guy, but he is a good guy. He's just not. He just isn't going to wear the badge. He's not the hero, but he is looking out after the best interests of everyone else, and sacrifices himself at the end for the
and sometimes
for the good.
To do that, you got to play both sides of the fence. And when you're playing both sides of the fence, you've got to feed a little bit into both sides, not enough to cause absolute mayhem and destruction, but just enough that everybody keeps trusting you. So this has been a great interview. Like I said at the beginning, it took us a freaking year to get here on no account of her own, because it was all our fault, because busy.
That's right.
So the important part of any interview, if you really love this idea, if you've seen her work, but you haven't actually had an opportunity to just buy all of her stuff, where can one get such fine pieces of art?
So you can find me, my publisher is Wyvern's Peak Publishing. So you can certainly go to their website and get the books. You can get them on Amazon.com. Mm-hmm. You can contact me directly on Facebook under either Susanne Lambdin or under Morbid Hearts. If you really want the book and you want it signed, send me a message and you can pay me directly. I'll autograph it and mail it to you.
Or come to the cons and do that.
I'm at a lot of cons in the Midwest, and next year in 2017 I might be going to more Wizard World. I can't really decide, but I think I'm going to, and then a lot of Walker Stalker. But then I'm also at Barnes & Noble, and depending on which city it is, a lot of the Midwest, I'm in a lot of bookstores. So, but Amazon.com is always a sure bet.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, I'll just give myself a little plug. If you're big Star Trek fans at all, I do have a screen credit for writing Season 4, Episode 78, Family. I got a based in part. I wrote
forgot about
the Wesley
that.
Crusher storyline where he met his dad when he turned 18. And
That was the storyline where he was at the academy, correct?
so, no, so this is when Picard goes home after being after being a Borg, he goes to visit his brother in France, and then Worf meets his
Oh.
adopted parents, and then
Okay.
Wesley meets his dad.
Okay.
So it's kind of a touchy feeling, and I don't think anyone's on the Enterprise in this particular episode.
Okay.
So I love to talk track too.
Yes, yes. So obviously it was a great episode. I remember the post-Borg stuff was great stuff. So get her stuff, guys. Find these books. They're great. Her stories are wonderful. There's so much detail going into them. She's being very faithful to the zombie concept, the formula, yet at the same time providing her own spin on it. So remember, you can get these books, $12.99 for a soft cover. Do you do hardcovers yet?
Not yet, but they will eventually be in hardcover and box set, and then they're working on audio as well.
I personally love audiobooks. I'm terrible at reading, not because I can't read, it's just I'll read a book and then I'm off doing my own adventure.
It's easier listening to me read to you. And then when you're driving around, I like to have someone reading a book
Especially
to
if
me.
you get actors involved that know what they're doing instead of just the one narrator. I'm like, there's a version of Z Nation, World War Z. Beautifully done. Alan
Nice.
Alda was one of them in there. So yes, if you do that, recommend that.
Great.
So guys, I'm Eric, and this has been another great episode of Notes and Nerds. Hey, if you want to follow us, remember Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those, just /Notes and Nerds. Also, don't forget to go to patreon.com/Notes and Nerds, where you can help support us, where you can give a little and get a lot back by helping us create great content and continuing coverage of all these great cons. Plus, maybe next year we can do our planned cross-country con tour. So again, patreon.com/Notes and Nerds.
That sounds good. Hey, thank you very much.
My pleasure. And it's great that we finally got the interview.
I know. I didn't think it would happen, but it did. So well done. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, you guys stay tuned for more.